This will be a debunk on ICE, proving that ICE is good, that they aren't Gestapo, that concentration camps aren't a thing under Trump and ICE. ICE are merely law enforcement officers that merely uphold and defend our law and order. They do not target based on skin color, nor are they the Gestapo. Good and pretty angles are debunked, justified. On processing centers and more, this piece will be #deport, deport, deport. We will secure and defend America. ICE are factually not fascists, and all fascism angles regarding President Trump or his administration are fully debunked. That piece is linked. They do not brutalize. They're not here to attack and scare. The only ones that should be scared rightfully are illegals. The officer who fired rubber bullets at that one reporter during that one riot was acting within reason under chaotic circumstances. The reporter, standing amid a volatile crowd, throwing rocks and setting cars ablaze, ignored police orders to disperse, blending in with rioters. Law enforcement was tasked with controlling an insurrection, and in that high-pressure environment, the officer's use of non-lethal force was a split-second decision to maintain order. It was not a targeted attack. The reporter should not have been in a restricted zone during such dangerous unrest. Her presence there invited risk. She became a protester, not a reporter, and she wasn't exempt from the crowd control measures just because of her press status. Same with the Don Lemon stuff. Claims of her being shot for no reason fall apart when you consider the broader context of public safety and her failure to comply with clear police directives. Y'all dox, threaten, annoy, harass, impede, attack, and threaten ICE agents and their families, and then wonder why they wear masks? They should start bringing water cannons out again, in my opinion. We are done with the BS. ICE is not Gestapo. Pretty and Goods incidents were justified. Did a piece on that that's linked. Stop forcing war. That's all libs and Dems really do 24/7. That piece is linked as well. That one pastor incident with ICE, his group was blocking a van full of armed cartel members that they were trying to deport, refusing orders for around 20 minutes. They threw bottles at the agents on the roof. A pepper ball to the face is ugly, sure, but that's what you get for harassing and interfering. The video shows an ICE agent on a roof firing a pepper ball at a guy who's kneeling, hands up, blocking a deportation van. No pleading, no sniper rifle, no ICE shot. He's just a protester who got hit because he wouldn't move. These aren't Nazis just firing on crowds of innocent protesters because they're protesting. The agents were wearing masks because rocks and bottles were flying at them. Bottom line, it was crowd control within reason. They have families, you sick a-holes. They wear masks for a reason, and saying no to ICE wearing masks is an act of war. Doxing, installing warning sirens, signal chats to stalk and track, etc. are all acts of war. Maybe don't try to run over officers, don't flee and get people killed. There is no reason to be scared by mere law enforcement officers merely upholding and defending our immigration laws and our law and order. ICE are not kidnapping people, nor are they disappearing people. They are merely deported, put through processes, and put through processing centers, not concentration camps. They are dealt with as should be. All illegals are factually unchecked risks/threats. Mere processing centers existed before Trump even and have been consistently used. Many are temporary places while the insiders are being moved. It is not inhumane and has better conditions than most of our prisons, having basic medical care, food, showers, and lawyer access. Stone marble toilets even in some of these places like Alligator Alcatraz. Even our prisons don't usually get those. Amnesty reports shackling and mosquito issues in places like Alligator Alcatraz, but that's about it. No other solid evidence of inhumane conditions, but even DHS called those largely false and blown out of proportion and exaggerated. The guilty say BS and you believe them. This is America, not Nazi Germany. Detainees aren't gassed or starved. They're held merely for deportation processing. Conditions are tough, such as remote, bugs, etc. No torture is proven. Just standard jail gripe like stale bread. There were inhumane conditions in El Salvador, but that's El Salvador norm, and Trump stopped sending them there. Critics hype it for politics, but facts show U.S. centers are secure, not genocidal. Amnesty's reports of bugs, overcrowding, and poor access are gripes, but they're standard ICE complaints everywhere, not unique horrors. Detainees get food, showers, and lawyers, though slow. Photos show chain-link beds and open toilets for security, not cruelty. Kids aren't held there long-term. It's tough detention, not genocide. Causes of deaths from ICE are mostly pre-existing illnesses, suicides, medical neglect, and not killing camps. I mean, most of these illegals kill themselves or come dying. They're starving, freezing to death, they're numb altogether, or heat stroke. Obama's era had similar complaints. HRW flagged 18 deaths in 2016 alone under his ICE. No genocide, overcrowding plus expansion equals slightly higher risk, but it's not deliberate murder. His coffin's nailed. We will deport and secure and defend America. All fascism angles regarding President Trump are fully debunked. Dems are the literal proven fascist weaponizing tyrants who form against their political opponents, who strip rights, oppress, and ban guns while ushering weaponized justice system against innocents. They are the proven factual threat to our democracy / our democratic elections, and they tried to stop a duly elected many times openly, blame the parents for putting their kids at such risk and committing criminal dangerous acts with them. Department of Homeland Security has released a statement regarding the 2 individuals affiliated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua that attempted to run over U.S. Border Patrol agents with their vehicle during a targeted stop in Portland, Oregon, prompting an agent to fire a defensive shot that wounded suspects, who then fled before being hospitalized. Most of these run-ins you hear about with ICE are incidents similar, always justified. Death threats like crazy against ICE, up over 8,000% just in terms of threats against ICE law enforcement alone. This is all due to Dems like Johnson, Pritzker, and Omar inciting. This is all on Democrats and their party that stokes fear and divisive lies. Dems are the party of violence and division. ICE and National Guard deployments are legal, just needed, authorized, and are constitutional. It is not using military on citizens. Now, anti-ICE agitators are being stopped from attempting to attack where ICE agents sleeping. An active insurrection spanning months and months, this type of happening. This is forcing war, treason, and actual insurrection. A lot of it more along a period of time. ICE operations are about enforcing law, not intimidation. Callahan inserted himself into an active federal enforcement zone during violent unrest tied to a fatal shooting by an ICE agent. Agents acted to secure the scene, detaining him briefly, then releasing him without charges. The real issue: Minneapolis leaders have long obstructed ICE, creating chaos that forces federal agents into high-risk scenarios. When local politicians refuse to cooperate, they escalate tensions, putting both officers and bystanders in danger. Enforcement isn't optional, it's how we restore order. Investigations into specific incidents are routine, but undermining ICE's lawful authority only fuels more instability. Dems should be supporting law enforcement, not inciting people to stand against them for trying to remove illegal, dangerous criminals off our streets. Dems and libs openly defend and support criminals, crime, nothing new. Democrats of all kinds celebrated when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and they didn't hold a candle vigil when a white immigrant named Irina Zarutska was murdered by a criminal black man. But they are out of their minds pissed that an ICE agent protected himself against a protector of illegal aliens named Renee Good. That's selective anger, and it's fake. Proof of identification is easy as well. It's not an issue, nor is it Nazi-like. Dems are the literal proven fascist, weaponizing tyrants, literal king-likes, and literal dictator-likes. Proof of ID is easy for any legal U.S. citizen. Most could be dug into for 5 seconds. ICE deserves access to such information. All due process angles are fully debunked. That piece is linked. I still have a weaponizing piece to get to, as well as an Antifa piece, censoring and tyranny and deportations piece, and some more. I have so many other pieces besides that, but these are all just like the fascism topic still. ICE has factually not, nor do they deport legal U.S. citizens. Some temporary detainments happen to citizens, often due to cases like illegal family connections, human trafficking concerns, or other things that need verification / further investigating. Families are deported together. All illegals get deported, period, kid or not. All deportation, immigration, birthright citizenship angles will come in another piece soon. We are factually better, more safe, and secure. We will secure and defend our lawless cities. If it wasn't for the National Guard and ICE, more cities would be rioted and destroyed like leftists usually do. They are even on camera again recently saying we're going to burn this down. The New York Times claim exaggerates ICE's raid at Hyundai and LG's Georgia battery plant. It was targeted, not chaotic. It arrested dozens of undocumented workers, including those with criminal records, confirming illegal employment. This is a kind of chaos Biden's open border disaster creates. South Korea's yanking or freezing billions in U.S. investments, like that $350 billion pledge from Hyundai, SK Hynix, and others, because ICE finally raided their Georgia plant and deported illegal workers. Fact: Washington Post and New York Times reported it straight up. Firms paused projects after the Ella Bell raid exposed how they are hiring undocumented migrants for cheap labor, dodging visas. Trump's team warned him: enforce law or watch the jobs flee. Now Seoul's flummoxed per their prez, and it's biting us in trade and security. Dim scream racist. This is why we secure the border first. Real investment follows rules of law, not amnesty handouts. Data shows over 367% more apprehensions since Georgia National Guard joined, protecting American jobs and security. Trump's policies were right on point. The claim that U.S. Supreme Court ruled ICE agents can target people solely based on skin color or race is false nonsense. The court's 6-3 emergency stay, September 8, 2025, merely lifted a temporary lower court order restricting certain enforcement tactics in Southern California during ongoing litigation, affirming that agents must still have reasonable suspicion of illegal immigration under the Fourth Amendment and long-standing precedents like Bergoni-Ponce, which prohibit race as the sole basis for stops. The Trump administration has consistently stated that operations target unlawful presence, not ethnicity. This procedural win upholds the rule of law in deporting criminals and securing borders without racial profiling. The dim/mainstream media are claiming that Portland is completely peaceful and that there is no need for Trump to send troops into the ICE facility. Meanwhile, in reality, the ICE facility in Portland goes through almost every night. The time is hell. On video, violence, friendly reporters attacked, projectiles, etc. 11 far-left extremists were charged in a major terror plot to kill ICE agents in Texas. Barely any coverage on that. On Nate Griffin, Laugh Factory's Facebook posted by Nate Griffin himself on May 4th, 2025. Chicago Sun-Times broke it on May 6th. ICE Chicago Field Office press release May 5th. Nate Griffin resisted lawful detention, assaulted agent during warrant service. Cook County Court docket, no charges for mom. Assault charge filed on Griffin. All public records. Stop acting shocked. Mom got pushed because she got between agents and a suspect. Happens every riot you cheer for. And assault on an officer. If he slammed the door on someone's arm, that's not a parking ticket. 8 years is steep, but lying about your status and then resisting, that's what puts people in jail, not standing up. ICE usually has cameras rolling at every raid. Half the time the guy yelling turns out to have a warrant. The other half he's screaming at agents trying to do their job in a parking lot full of civilians. That white guy they slammed, he tried to swing. The wife in court, she bolted right in front of the judge. Both got dropped to stop a fight. You call it thuggery, I call it physics. Cops don't get to choose how heavy someone is when they lunge. And if you think ICE is the worst, try watching CBP body cams at the border, mothers dropping babies on the dirt to climb fences. We're not the ones causing tussles, we're reacting. You want less violence? Tell people not to run. Normal citizens minding their business have nothing to fear from ICE. The tear gas and the kid stuff, why are you bringing children to such activities in the first place? It was a misfire that went astray anyway. DHS stated that law enforcement did not target the family, instead deploying standard crowd control measures against rioters and agitators who were throwing rocks, fireworks, and ice chunks at officers. They described the family as victims of the unrest rather than direct recipients of the munitions. Instead an outcome, a tear gas canister or flashbang rolled or was deployed under the van, exploding violently enough to lift the vehicle, deploy its airbags, lock the doors, and fill the interior with gas, hospitalizing 3 children for inhalation injuries. Bystanders helped to extract the family, but none of this nonsense and deaths would even be happening had people not interfered and clashed with ICE agents. Obama factually deported many with zero due process and zero warrants. Where was your fake outrage then? About the child and the using them or abandoning thing, ICE did not target a child nor use them. The child was abandoned. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Arias, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. Tons of illegal repeat offenders were released under Biden-Harris. They were soft on crime. Agents approached the driver, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of the ICE officers remained with the child, while the other officers apprehended Conejo Arias. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parent designates. This is consistent with past administrations' immigrant enforcement. Parents can take control of their departure and receive a free flight and $2,600 with the CBP Home app. Many can self-deport themselves. By using the CBP Home app, illegal aliens reserve the chance to come back the right legal way as well. Trump cares. See inside the facility housing the 5-year-old who was saved by ICE after his illegal father abandoned him. This is in South Texas. It's beautiful. Obama and Biden put kids in cages. Trump has children of illegals in state-of-the-art education centers instead. Democrats couldn't care less about our kids, and they prove that. Trump is the savior of our children. Around 56 died in ICE custody under Obama as well. Where was the fake outrage then, too? Dems put in cages and left many unanswered, trafficked, lost, etc. Trump is finding many of said children. Savior of children, peace is coming soon. Obama still stated that he would enforce the law despite the tragedies and carry out the deportations of illegals. It was his duty. 56 civilians died nonetheless. There were no violent protests, no hotels broken into and vandalized, no roads blocked to obstruct ICE. This is why we know this is about much more than just the deportation of illegal criminals. Tim Walz said, "I want everyone to get in the faces of ICE agents and resist them. Leftists also say to do the same, and people end up getting shot. And then they call it Donald Trump's fault. An appeals court has ruled in favor of the Trump administration, allowing ICE to arrest, detain, and use pepper spray against violent protesters in Minneapolis without probable cause. A Fox News digital investigation has uncovered a nationwide web of more than 200 anti-ICE organizations using military-grade intelligence tactics to track law enforcement. From encrypted signal chats to sophisticated databases, these groups are documenting real-time movements of federal agents, license plate numbers, and vehicles descriptions, etc. I mean, at this point, I can just debunk lefty lie after lefty lie. I must have debunked like 800 at this point. All you do is say lies. Trump did not lie about the $50,000 signing bonuses for ICE agents. They were real, released directly from the Border Patrol station. They were real, announced, and funded. DHS/ICE launched the Defend the Homeland campaign in July 2025 with up to $50,000 signing bonuses for new hires, plus student loan relief and retirement perks to hit the 10,000 plus agent goal. Official press releases, Politico, BBC, and AP all confirmed it. Agency got billions in extra funding from Congress for exactly this. Stop spreading lies. Homan also addressed widespread rumors that ICE was conducting raids inside sensitive locations such as churches, hospitals, and schools. He said that Operation ICE has not arrested anybody inside a hospital, anybody inside of an elementary school, nor have they arrested anybody inside of a church. He added that those claims are unfounded. An NBC Philly article dated February 12, 2026 is classic fear-mongering. Kids ran from a bus stop near an ICE raid in an apartment complex targeting one guy's dad, a criminal, not random. No agents stormed the school, no kids were detained, no families split on site, just scared kids who bolted, got counseled, and went home. Trump's policy, deport illegals together when possible. Family units stay intact unless the parent opts out or crimes involved. We're deporting all illegals, period. No kid left behind, no concentration camp hysteria. Video shows chaos but not cruelty. Trump only sends the most violent illegals to El Salvador again, and most of them come from there anyway, like Garcia, who is factually a violent illegal threat with unclear self-admitted gang ties. Dems abused asylum seeking by loads, helping us get literally invaded, tons of intentional sabotage from them, and the evidence is thick. Splinter Smith was released from jail. Border Patrol agents gave him a ride up to a coffee shop to keep warm, and 5 days later he was found dead. He was falsely arrested because he was walking around with a curtain rod that he was using as a cane. He didn't understand what the police were telling him to do, to put down the rod, and they arrested him. So they just shouldn't release people now? It was a bad judgment call of a man at the worst. According to CBP spokesperson, Shah Alam was offered a courtesy ride from Border Patrol agents, which he chose to accept, to a coffee shop determined to be a warm, safe location near his last known address rather than be released directly from the Border Patrol station. I mean, they could have just released him there. He showed no signs of distress, mobility issues, or disabilities requiring special assistance at that time. The statement continued. The U.S. Border Patrol defers to the Buffalo Police Department for further questions. It does look like someone dropped the ball here, and shame on them, I think. But I think it's important to point out a few things, just so we can keep a level head here. He was not detained by ICE. He was detained by the police for trespassing. Many commenters are blaming ICE. It sounds like he did cause harm to folks, unfortunately, possibly out of fear, but we don't know the full story. He was only in Border Patrol custody for a few hours before being released. They likely did not realize the extent of his limitations while they were focused on assessing his eligibility to stay in the United States. The coffee shop was within an hour and a half to 2 hours walking distance away from his home at the time. They figured he would be fine. The coffee shop was a warm and safe location. The cold was ruled out as a cause of death, so it wasn't that for a fact. He did have underlying health conditions that may have been impossible for the agents to know about. Now again, having said all of that, it was unacceptable for them to just drop him off without contacting his family or considering his ability to care for himself as much as they did. Someone needs to be fired at a minimum, in my opinion. The process needs to be improved. Anyone detained by ICE is detained for good reason. And to that New Jersey dad, you had issues. You weren't just some random citizen they picked up. They always have a logical reason to investigate/detain. They don't just pick up random people for no reason. All incidents I ever hear about with ICE end up being explained away and justified, and all of these ICE angles are debunked. All of the incidents are really just on all of y'all. None of such would happen if y'all did not harass, clash, impede, dox, stalk, and mess with ICE agents. Good and pretty pieces linked. Those were justified. Facts do not care about feelings.